News Network, and you're watching News 9, English news as it should be.
Hello and welcome. You're watching News 9 with me, Shweta Kothari. And on the show today, we discuss the Goa fire tragedy in which 25 people lost their lives. On 6th of December, a fire tore through the Birch nightclub in Arpora in Goa. 25 lives were lost in minutes. It was an illegal nightclub, yet it ran packed every night, right under the noses of half a dozen government departments. Let's be very clear about what happened here. This was not an accident. This was no act of God. This was a completely preventable disaster that happened because every single system designed to protect citizens failed, or worse, chose to look away. The Luthra brothers who ran this club are now absconding. Police sources revealed that the brothers booked their tickets for Thailand at about 1 in the morning on 7th of December. The same night, the fire tore through the nightclub, and even as Goa police and Goa fire services were battling to douse the fire and rescue the people trapped, Luthra brothers were preparing to flee the country. And now, from the safety of a foreign locale, they're seeking anticipatory bail. Shockingly, in the court today, they said that they are only licensees and not owners of the building. The building belongs to someone else. The nightclub was run by a partner and managers, and they were busy in meetings when this mess happened. In short, they are not responsible. The Chief Minister now promises that no one who's responsible will be spared. 6 people have already been arrested. More arrests are also expected. The State Disaster Management Authority is now conducting surprise inspections. Fire safety checks are now being ordered across all nightclubs across Goa. Rules will be enforced strictly, we are told, and no laxity will be tolerated.
लीकर ट्रेड लाइसेंस टाइमिंग के बाहर जो लीकर सेल करता है, जिसके पास जितने बजे तक की टाइमिंग है तब तक ही वो लीकर सेल करे. मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम 11 बजे के टाइमिंग के बाद, यानी उनके पास विदाउट हैविंग द प्रॉपर लाइसेंस दे आर सेलिंग द लीकर्स, एंड द गवर्नमेंट विल, द एक्साइज डिपार्टमेंट विल टेक द स्ट्रिक्ट एक्शन ऑन देम. So that in future 2 बार के बाद उनके लाइसेंसेस डायरेक्टली कैंसिल हो जाएंगे.
But with all due respect, this is not a crackdown. This is the job of the government. This is what you were supposed to be doing all along. You are packaging basic governance as some kind of special operation. You're selling standard operating procedures as if they're emergency measures, and you're hoping that the public will forget that if you had done this job properly in the first place, 25 people would still be alive. And because we will keep reminding our viewers and your government that the ill-fated nightclub was an illegal establishment with no clearances. Fire safety NOC from the fire department not obtained. Construction license from the revenue or panchayat authorities. The club was built without authorization. Pollution control NOC from the Goa State Pollution Control Board not obtained. Alcohol license from the excise department not obtained yet again. An entertainment license that would have covered the use of firecrackers not obtained once again. How does a place operate without a single valid permission and nobody stops it? The answer is simple and disturbing. Either the authorities don't care or they were complicit. Either way, they failed. The Chief Minister has also a new worry now, and that is migrant workers. He says that many come without police verification and disappear after incidents. From now on, every worker in tourism will need police clearance in Goa. Fair point, but will checking the workers' papers stop a club from running without fire exits?
hotels and other relateds, बाकी सारे पहने जो वहाँ पे उनके विद इन द कैंपस ढेर सारे इंसिडेंट कभी कभी होते हैं, बिकॉज देयर इज एन लेबर पुलिस वेरिफिकेशन इज एन कंपल्सरी फॉर देम. मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स जितने सारे लेबर्स बाहर के स्टेट से आते हैं और विदाउट पुलिस वेरिफिकेशन मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम दे डू दिस टाइप ऑफ मिसचिफ एंड ये यहाँ से भाग जाते हैं. इसके लिए उनके ऊपर विजिल रखने के लिए देयर शुड बी द कंपल्सरी police verification before employing any employers in the tourism related activity.
This is a strange argument to make when you consider that tourism powers about 16% of Goa's economy. Tourism sustains about 40 to 45% of Goa's workforce, and a huge portion of that workforce is migrant labor. They work in your hotels, they serve in your restaurants, they run your shacks, they drive your taxis. Migrant workers are the backbone of economy. And now, after a fire caused by illegal construction, missing safety clearances and complete regulatory failure, the focus is shifting to migrant workers. The big questions that we're asking tonight: how many more death traps like Birch exist in Goa right now? Why did it take 25 deaths for routine inspections to finally begin? Can owners dodge blame through managers, or shouldn't profit be linked with safety, which is a non-transferable duty? Joining me on the show is Savio Rodriguez, founder and editor-in-chief of Goa Chronicles. Also with us is Sanjay Sahai, former IPS officer and former ADGP Karnataka. Also with us is Dr. Sudhir Krishna, former Urban Secretary, Government of India, Chairman for Smart Cities and Technical Committee. Also, finally, is Pifran Fernandez on the show with us, who's the spokesperson for Small and Medium Hotels Goa and former president of Federation of Small and Medium Hotels in Goa. Thank you very much, all of you, for taking time out. I want to come to, the law enforcement part first. And Sanjay Sahai, at basic level, how is it even possible for a nightclub to operate without a single license and do so under the noses of authorities without them knowing that it's happening?
Who is not knowing that it is happening? And it is not a law enforcement job primarily. We start with the construction permit. So there was no construction permit. Without the construction permit, the whole thing has been built and it was running. You come to the tourist development board or tourist board, whatever the name might be. There is absolutely no compliances. Nobody even went to find out as to whether this pub was or club was running in the manner it should. Then you come to the fire permit, no objection certificate or fire permit. That itself was not there. Add to this whole ignominy, till 400 meters only off the accident site, the fire tenders could come. We were just hearing the Goa CM. I think either he is totally unaware of whatever has been happening in his jurisdiction, or he is trying to cover up in a manner which is just next to impossible. That is primarily what we are seeing right now. And some 5-6 people, they have been caught who are just paid employees. And now they are shifting the whole blame to migrant laborers for whatever reason. If you talk of death traps, let the government of Goa, if they are really interested and they really mean something for the people, let government of Goa finally give us a clearance that there are no death traps left in Goa. Let them do audit. Now they are saying they will take 6-7 days to get documents from tourism board, from Panchayat and all that. What Digital India, what smart cities have we been governing where we cannot find access to main documents? Let there be a database that should come online in another 24 hours where all the Goa pubs, bars and structures of this nature, whether they have a construction permit, when they came into existence, what is the fire permit, how it has been operating, what police has been doing. So police is one agency which is colluding with all other agencies. It is a case of total criminal collusion.
Okay.
You might catch the Luthras, tomorrow. But this whole thing is not going to stop.
Absolutely.
Fire tragedy and people dying out of crowd mismanagement, that has been made our destiny. And people who are actually the fence eating the crop, they are the people who are standing in judgment. Today the district magistrate North Goa will stand in judgment of whatever has failed in that particular system. So this is where we primarily are. Can you imagine you're putting some leaf stuff there, inflammable material. There is no exit. Leave aside permission or no permission. It is a clear-cut knowledge, and I will call it with all my 32 years of experience in the police, that it is 100% criminal liability, and if we don't set it right at this point, it is going to continue for all times to come. I think on an average 16 to 18 incidents, accidents, tragedies, criminal acts of this nature I've been talking about nearly every single year. That is where we stand.
Okay, absolutely. Savio Rodriguez, this is not just an accident. This is criminal negligence, and not just the police officials or the government officials. It involves every department, from fire to excise to safety to construction. Absolutely no permit, and the government is now saying we will ensure that there are occasional inspections. Shouldn't it happen in the first place? Without a tragedy, it could have been averted if there were regular inspections to begin with. And God knows how many more such death traps, as Mr. Sai was pointing out, currently operating in Goa.
Shweta, to be brutally honest, it is neither an accident nor criminal negligence. It's plain, simple murder. What happened is that 25 innocent people were murdered because the Luthras and their team decided to start pyros in a place that was flammable because of the architecture of the nightclub and because of the furniture in the nightclub. Second, because the government administration decided to turn a blind eye to the illegality of that club. 3, because there were certain forces, not only in Goa but outside of Goa, that influenced people who wanted to take action against the illegality through pressure and told them not to take action against the illegality. In taking all this into consideration, it is not criminal negligence at all, and neither is it an accident. It is murder. And that, unfortunately, is what the Chief Minister has been talking about throughout his press conference, saying it's an accident, it's an accident, it's an accident. It is not an accident, it's a murder. Number 2, the responsibility of what has happened, while the criminality lies with the manner in which the Luthra brothers and their team conducted their operations, the most important criminality of what has happened is the fact that every single department in Goa that was responsible for checks and measures of any nightclub of this manner failed to do its duty. So
Absolutely.
It's a complete dereliction of duty. And when dereliction of duty happens, there's got to be a cause and an effect. And that is what you're seeing. Now, today, 25 innocent people have died. I've asked the Prime Minister, I've asked the Chief Minister as well. When 26 people died in Pahalgam in a terrorist attack, we went to war with Pakistan. 25 people have died in Goa, innocent people for no fault of theirs. Are we going to go to war against corruption? Because somebody in the system was corrupt, and that is the reason why they turned a blind eye to the illegalities that were done by the Luthras in the Birch property. And like that, Shweta, may I add, almost 80 to 85% of clubs that are there in Night Goa and some parts of South Goa will be illegal because they will fail in some or the other regular license or regulation or protocol that is required, because they've been mushrooming so much. The lobby of business outside of Goa have been investing so much of money into Goa.
Absolutely.
They believe they can buy out the administration, they can buy out panchayats, they can buy out fire departments, they can buy out everyone, because they have loads of money that they bring and come from outside of Goa. And that is the reason why we are in this situation. Goa is a tourism destination. it reflects India.
If there's one lesson that the Birch tragedy serves, at least for the larger public, to understand about what's happening as far as Goa is concerned, and that is it's very easy to buy permits without actually going through the procedure. And at least that's what's happened in case of Birch by Romeo Lane, because given that it was operating for so many years without a single license, authorities only woke up when 25 people died. You know?
Shweta, Shweta, may I correct you? It's not easy. It is not easy to get the license for people who genuinely want to do good work. It is.
Okay, I think we've lost the line there.
With people with licenses that are required.
All right, Savio, I'm going to come back to you. Let me also quickly get in Dr. Sudhir Krishna. Dr. Sudhir Krishna, the number of people who are currently being held liable include the manager, the owners, the operators of that club. Do you not believe that essentially the responsibility for what's happened goes far beyond these 5-6 people? It goes to every person who allowed this nightclub to operate without due permissions.
I think you are right, and it seems to me that we have to go into two dimensions. One is what has happened immediately in this case, and the second is what to do for future. Because immediately, definitely, the government has suspended the director of Panchayat who had stayed the order of the Panchayat for stopping this or demolishing the structures. It was stayed by the state director of Panchayat, and the director of Panchayat has been suspended. And I hope proper inquiry will be conducted as to why he had stopped the demolition activities. And at the same time, the local authorities also seem to be like they are not doing their job well. I think state fire department is supposed to inspect, they are not inspecting, and they have and the state the revenue department, they also gave notice. So many people gave notice, but by giving notice their job ended. I mean, by giving notice, if you think that department thinks that their job is over, it is not good. They have to take their notice to logical end. That is why they exist. They don't exist merely to give notice. So that has also to be seen as to why they stopped at giving notice, And so this is second thing.
Okay.
And quickly I will come to the immediate ramification for the immediate future. That the fire department is rather inadequately staffed in terms of their equipments are also not up to date, and so they have to be augmented. The fire department has to be augmented, and the National Building Code has got provision for fire safety in buildings. And so that is another thing which has to be enforced, the National Building Code provisions for fire safety in buildings. And then thirdly, we are commercializing in the name of urbanization. Every place is being commercialized. Residential areas are being commercialized. This was an agricultural property, and it was a property which was out of bound for any commercial activity. We are commercializing that also. So the town planning is going for a toss, and that we are paying the price for it. The traffic jams here and there, the unsafe, habitats, and all kinds of things are happening because town planning is not getting attention. So we have to strengthen the town planning department, town planning system. I mean, Goa has a relatively better town planning department, as I know, but even so, it has to be strengthened, and the municipal governance, the panchayat governance has to be strengthened. We have multiplicity of authorities. If you see in this case, at least half a dozen authorities have been giving notices, but nothing has fructified because there are too many people trying to focus on same thing, and nobody is the finally responsible authority. So a time has come to decide that the local area, it has to be handled by the local panchayat and local municipality. They have to be strengthened. So the things I would say that which require attention for right away, as also in the immediate, medium and long run, to resolve the problem right away and for the future also.
All right. Pifran Fernandez is also with us. Pifran, we heard the Chief Minister today talking about how migrant workers, in fact, come to Goa without proper police verification, many of whom are employed. And I think that he believes is also a problem vis-a-vis safety. Do you concur with that, given that it's the migrant workforce that actually runs, most of the economy of Goa, about 40 to 45%?
Goa cannot do without any migrant laborers. Because Goa, at the moment, has become Goa without Goans. Because a lot of Goans migrate to other states with a Portuguese passport. Because they're entitled to one. Having said that, we just cannot pinpoint only the migrants. That is the workforce. But the real tragedy which has happened is at a higher level, where people think throughout, see, in Goa, anybody can invest. But unfortunately, what is happening in Goa is the hale and mighty are investing in Goa, which is a good sign for tourism. But the mindset that they have is in Goa, sab kuch chalta hai. I concur to the views of Mr. Savio, who has been a true Goaikar, bleeding it out that in Goa, it's just not investing. It is in Goa, you also need to follow the laws. They're high and mighty, think that they're well connected with the bureaucrats, with the IAS officers, with the ministers. They know how to fix the panchayat, the sarpanches, the punches, and money talks. The minute they think that money talks in Goa, all the licenses go for a toss. And this is a very classic case, man, wherein even the Bombay High Court order was stayed. And when Bombay High Court order came in, it came into enforce, the bulldozer coming only after this incident. So you can understand how depth the Luthra brothers are embedded into the system, how in depth they can have the context, which actually is an eye-opener, because anywhere in India, life matters. And one needs to have proper SOPs, there are laws, and ultimately, once they come to Goa, that they can circumvent laws with their money, that's where things go wrong. Today, Goa is just not a capital in terms of tourism. It's become a real estate industry.
Absolutely.
Goa has become the second home capital. So at that point of time, when somebody comes with an investment of huge crores of rupees, it goes for a toss, permissions go for a toss, because again, I'm coming back to the mindset. They think, ये सब चलता है, फिक्स हो जाएगा. पंचायत को फिक्स करेंगे, सरपंच को फिक्स करेंगे, मेरा IAS डॉग, मेरा colleague है. You know, there is a huge influx, and I will not name states. Anybody can invest in Goa, but at this point of time, there's a very strong lobby from Delhi, Noida investing. Most welcome, but please follow the laws. That's not happening. You might have context with the high and mighty places and the high and mighty people who matter. But at the end of the day, life matters. And ultimately what actually happens is tourism in Goa goes for a toss. And ultimately, we are all known for all the wrong...
Actually, come to think of it, you know, it does look like the current incident has also sent a lot of chills down the spines of those who are hoping to visit Goa anytime soon. Sanjay Sahai, people are thinking twice today, sir, whether they should go to Goa or not go to Goa. You know, every now and then one such incident happens, and it does jolts us back to reality, and that is not many of our establishments, nightclubs, restaurants are as safe as they portray to be. But the current conversation, which also worries me a little bit, is about how we believe that we are scapegoating, trying to find who to blame, but unable to find the actual real people to blame.
The actual real people are pretty well known. The cutting edge element of Indian bureaucracy, Goa or a variety of other places, has reached a level of servitude. So they are literally slaves. Their mindset is like that, they operate like that. So senior bureaucracy and the political executive and the political class, they dictate and they will never come into the picture. These Luthras are icons of hospitality industry. They can literally do anything and everything, whatever they feel like, inclusive of escaping out of this country. And if tourists, if they decide to boycott Goa for another 6 months, I think that will be the real jolt to this whole establishment which is conniving to extract money out of Goa in whichever manner possible and escaping the clutches of law. Let today the Home Minister tell, the Chief Minister tell that they were unaware of the whole thing. I am even asking them in 24 hours time, I need a database of all these establishments and whatever are the licenses provided to them. When was the last time when the audit was done? Post audit, what was done? See, we can keep crying till the cows come home. These people know under this civilized democratic structure, they are completely safe. They will go one foot to the other. They will do variety of things. It is time that the civil society dictates whatever it requires out of these people. Let people sit down, 20,000 people, and demand. When Anna Hazare was there, the whole parliament fell on his feet. And they did the legislation and carried that document to Anna Hazare.
Right. So,
see, otherwise, every day the same thing will happen. Today also go, and the people who are representing Goa, and they want a better Goa. Now you go with them and you realize. Let there be investigative journalism.
100%. Some very hard questions. Some very hard questions need to be asked. I agree with you completely. I mean, as a matter of fact, you're right. Everybody knows that half of these establishments are operating without proper permissions. They've encroached upon land. They're illegally constructed over areas they don't have permission to construct. Yet they continue to operate under everybody's noses. And Savio Rodriguez, it takes a tragedy of this nature, of this scale, for the authorities, the Goa Chief Minister, to finally say, all right, we'll do, frequent inspections. Why not do these inspections before such a tragedy takes place? I mean, after all, it's your job to do it. And I think, if anything, this should serve as a lesson. Many tragedies we talk about, stampedes, fires, railway tragedies, and we are only waking up post facto.
Shweta, as a Goan, let me apologize, and I've done that before on the television as well, to all the families who've lost their loved ones. But I also want to appeal to every other tourist that comes to Goa, that Goa is a safe destination. This one unfortunate criminal event is not a reflection of Goa or the Goans or the kind of tourism we have. What is important right now is that, yes, the governmental administration did make a mistake. And for that mistake, an investigation is going on. And the people concerned, the people of Goa will ensure that justice is done. I don't really give a damn about the administration, but I am certain that the people of Goa will ensure that justice is done. But having said that, the important thing right now is to ensure that the next accident does not happen. The next murder does not happen. Therefore, there should be systems. And I think what we have done now with media support and the constant intervention of the media, who have actually picked up, like your group, to actually raise this issue, is that it's putting pressure on the government to act responsibly to ensure justice to those 25 people who have died. And that is where our success lies, to ensure that justice is delivered and further criminality is stopped or eradicated in the state. And that is what I see it as. But as far as tourism is concerned, my dear people of the rest of India, please be rest assured, every single Goan is with you and you are safe and secure there.
All right, gentlemen, we've completely run out of time on the show. We, of course, continue to track the tragedy, the aftermath of it, and more importantly, government's action and reaction. As of this evening, Goa Chief Minister coming on record to suggest that they will be conducting thorough inspections across Goa to ensure that all nightclubs as well as restaurants comply with the law of the land. Not just that, there will also be some sort of action taken as far as migrant workers is concerned. That's the message coming in from the Goa Chief Minister. Not sure whether that will prevent any future tragedy, but Goa government finally springing into action. Savio Rodriguez, Sanjay Sahai, Dr. Sudhir Krishna, as well as Pifran Fernandez. Thank you very much for taking time out for joining us on the show. This continues to be our top story, the tragedy in Goa that killed 25 people, Luthra brothers. The people responsible for managing that particular restaurant, that particular nightclub, are currently fleeing from the country. They continue to evade law. They are in Thailand. In fact, they left the night of the accident and yet they are not back just as yet. So authorities, of course, working around the clock to ensure that they come back and they face the music. But that's all the time we have in your interest. Thank you very much for watching.
एसोसिएट स्पॉन्सर बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा से लोन लेना एक मास्टर स्ट्रोक है.
Welcome to a cheese spread made with pure milk. For chilly evenings. For peppery sundowners. For garlic afternoons. For tikka picnics. Welcome to Amul cheese spread.
No added sugar, preservative के बिना. Dates, बादाम, पिस्ता, काजू और शहद से तैयार किया गया Lion Dates Nut Bites.
Lion Date Nut Bites. I am really motivated to grow my career, learn new skills and prove myself.
अगले हफ्ते जॉब इंटरव्यू है, इंग्लिश में प्रैक्टिस करें?
Sure, let's try some.
I want good career, new skills, खुद को प्रूव करना है.
Great, you can try. I'm really motivated to grow my career, learn new skills, and prove myself. और हाँ, तुम ये भी बता सकती हो कि इस इंडस्ट्री और इस